than a speeding cheesehead, stronger than a Green Bay locomotive, the force of nature that is our good friend, Congresswoman Gwen Moore, is about to join us. Gwen is such an advocate that she began organizing in high school, working for a science lab in her school, and the inclusion of African Americans in history textbooks. As a VISTA volunteer, she created a community credit union because banks wouldn't lend to her African American neighbors. Nothing seems to slow down Gwen. She didn't have much growing up, and she had a baby while still a teenager, but she defied all the odds, put herself through school, gave back to her community, and won seats in the state assembly and the state senate. In 2004, it was our honor to help Gwen Moore become the first African American member of Congress from Wisconsin. Please welcome the unstoppable, irrepressible Congresswoman Gwen Moore.
Oh, Ellen, thank you. You had to tell them about the cheese. 24 years ago, Emily's List set out on a very modest mission to elect a few pro-choice women to all levels of government. And 2.5 decades later, that work is starting to pay. Unlike the old boys network that runs so much of Wall Street, Emily's List investments are coming back in big dividends. Now let's just talk about one of those investments here for a minute. I'm talking about someone who has brought back just a little bit of refinement, a little bit of class, and a bit of management to the House of Representatives. I tell you, she deserves the Good Housekeeping Award for cleaning house and sweeping out the culture of discrimination against women that has permeated Washington for the past 200 years. Hey, she's not only the keeper of the house, the redeemer of the house, the lady of the house, but she's the speaker of the house. You heard from her, and who better to lead the charge against discrimination and sexism than the lady of satin and steel, General Nancy Pelosi. Hey, just look at some of the general's marching orders in the first days of the 111th Congress. Lilly Ledbetter, the Paycheck Fairness Act, equal work for equal pay. Hey, this stuff is on the fast track to becoming a reality. And I tell you, the Paycheck Fairness Act, it's just the first step towards stomping out the past 8 years, for sure, of injustice. And not only is Nancy stomping out injustice, but she's stomping it out in 4-inch heels. Today, we women are setting the agenda not only in the House of Representatives, but we're setting it in the White House. Because I'm telling you, the first bills that our president, I can't get with this president-elect stuff. That our president, Barack Obama, will be signing into law is the Paycheck Fairness Act. And let me tell you something. He's brought a lot of smart women into the House, too, to ensure that they're not only seen, but they're heard in this administration. My task here today is to introduce one of those great women. But, you know, this is not really a task. You know, a task is an obligation, a requirement, a burden, a chore. It suggests something that, you know, someone has just dragged me up here to do nothing more than take care of a little chore with the promise of some free food. And it was great. I want to tell the Hilton. But let me humbly announce the next speaker. This task is an honor and a delight to introduce you to someone that I have a wonderful relationship with. This woman who will lead our nation and to help President Obama grapple with an economy that works for everyone, not just a privileged few. This is a woman who has never failed to stand up for injustice. The first Latina elected to the California State Assembly. She led the fight to raise the minimum wage in California. And I'll never forget when she came to my hometown of Milwaukee to stand with me to fight against domestic violence by marching through the streets in wedding gear in the first ever bride's walk in our state to commemorate the death of a woman who was shot dead in her wedding dress by a jealous lover. I tell you, President-elect Barack Obama has made an amazing choice when he picked an Emily's List superstar to lead the fight for a fair and just and a 21st century economy. And I have no doubt that this diminutive woman in physical stature will be able to stand up to the giant challenges before us. Destined to be a great counselor to the White House, labor organizer, congresswoman, colleague, friend, sister, Emily's List superstar. Just as she has stood up for us, now let's stand up for her. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Secretary of Labor designate, Hilda Solis.
My